Violence against women is an epidemic. This is what Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has said as thousands attended rallies in Sydney as well as other major Australian cities, urging tougher laws on gendered violence. The rallies were spurred by a wave of violence against women that the government says has seen a woman killed every 4 days this year. The rallies also followed a mass stabbing in Sydney this month that killed 6 people, including 5 women. And by the way, gender-based violence is an ongoing issue in Australia, a nation of 26 million. Back in 2021, tens of thousands rallied over allegations of sexual abuse and misconduct in some of the nation's highest political offices. Protesters are now demanding stronger criminal laws, and similar protests were scheduled, across Australia in Perth, Melbourne, Victoria, Tasmania, as well as Brisbane.
Thousands of people have rallied across Australia demanding action to end gender-based violence in the country as anger grows over the rising number of women killed in violent attacks this year. So far this year, 1 woman has been killed every 4 days in Australia, with 27 women killed in the first 119 days of this year, according to an Australian campaign group. Massive protests across the country, from Sydney to Melbourne, are now calling for greater action, including calls for a royal commission to address the epidemic of violence against women. The Australian Prime Minister joined these national rallies over the weekend, calling the situation in the country a national crisis.
We're here today to demand that governments of all levels must do better, including my own, including every state and territory government. We're here as well to say that society and Australia must do better. We need to change the culture, we need to change attitudes. We need to change the legal system. We need to change the approach by all governments. Because it's not enough to support victims. We need to focus on the perpetrators and focus on prevention.
This is not the first time Australians have protested demanding for better legislation to protect women. In 2021, marches took place across the country over allegations of sexual misconduct within the parliament. These latest protests come weeks after 5 women were stabbed at a shopping centre earlier this month, with mall footage revealing that the accused deliberately targeted women in the assault. Chants of "No more, we want action and do your job" echoed throughout Australia as men and women gathered at over 17 rallies over the weekend, with roughly 15,000 people protesting in the city of Melbourne. Demonstrators say state and federal governments need to cooperate on a plan of action to curb this epidemic against women. As Australians call for tougher laws to tackle gender-based violence, it remains to be seen whether the protests would lead to real change in the country. Vidisha Bagchi, Bureau Report, NDTV.